from New Delhi, special broadcast on first Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi on DD India, the channel which is India's voice to the world. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with His Holiness Mahant Swami Maharaj, will inaugurate the Grand Bap's Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi, a landmark temple which is spread over 27 acres. In fact, the first Hindu temple in the Gulf nation. I'm Sakal Bhatt.
And I'm Gautam Roy. Prime Minister Modi is on a two-day visit to the UAE. The inauguration of the 108-foot high temple marks a significant moment for the Hindu community in the UAE, as well as for the two countries' bilateral ties, which have been advanced further during the bilateral meetings the Prime Minister has held with the UAE leadership in the course of his visit alone. Highlights being an investment treaty and much more.
And we will be beaming those live visuals from UAE upon the Indian Prime Minister's arrival at the temple. But before the event unfolds, let's get you a quick look at the top stories emerging from the Prime Minister's visit so far.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to inaugurate Abu Dhabi's first Grand Hindu temple shortly. The Bap Swaminarayan temple was consecrated earlier in the day on Wednesday.
Prime Minister Modi calls for reform of global institutions at the World Government Summit in Dubai, stresses on the need to create global prototypes for emerging challenges like artificial intelligence and crypto.
And the Indian PM also holds key bilateral meetings with UAE's Vice President Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum and Madagascar President Andry Rajoelina during his stay in Dubai.
That's right. So, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a two-day visit to the United Arab Emirates. A key highlight of the Prime Minister's visit to the UAE is the inauguration of the Bap's Hindu Mandir temple later today.
Meanwhile, the consecration ceremony of the historic Bap's Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi was performed by Mahant Swami Maharaj on Wednesday ahead of his inauguration by the Indian Prime Minister. The evening launch ceremony and Mandir dedication assembly will be taking place at 6 p.m. to 9:50 p.m. Indian Standard Time. This occasion is bringing the message of harmony, love and tolerance to the entire world.
In fact, the foundation stone of the temple was also laid by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi way back in 2017.
So the magnificent Bap's temple, the largest in West Asia, is now ready. The much-awaited place of worship, a magnificent pink sandstone temple complex built by Bochusanvasi Akshar Purushottam Swaminarayan Sansa, that's Bap's, boasts of intricate carvings and traditional architecture.
Yes, Gautam, and it will also serve as a spiritual sanctuary for the Hindu community in the UAE, which is estimated to be over 3.5 million strong Indian diaspora. In fact, DD India correspondent Meghna Dev brings you more from the temple.
In the beautiful desert expanse of Abu Dhabi's Abu Murayqa district is this structure emerging from the sands. This structure is also now being known as the lotus in the desert because it's made carved out of pink sandstone. Italian marbles and much more has been carved so that it gets this beautiful shape, and it's a testimony, it's a testament to timeless craftsmanship and obviously the Indian intricacy in terms of art, culture, tradition is all depicted on the walls of this beautiful Bap's Hindu temple. I will also take you inside to show you the intricacy of the art that's depicted inside the temples under the 7 spires that make this temple as beautiful as it meets the eye. We are inside the Babs Hindu temple, the highly anticipated temple where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be coming, and we'll be inaugurating it on 14th of February on his visit to UAE. To show you around, my camera person will pan for you and show you the beautiful visuals of this temple, the height, the depth and the intricacy of the art, craftsmanship, which is a testament to what India has to offer in terms of its crafts, timeless crafts that has been depicted here. We obviously see this beautiful structure. When generally people visit Abu Dhabi, this structure transcends them from the general Abu Dhabi in terms of luxury hotels, racing car arenas and much more, to beautiful spiritual place and everything that depicts Indian craftsmanship, Indian culture, Indian tradition and more. With my colleague Ashwini Mishra and camera person Pramod Negi, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Abu Dhabi.
So quite an occasion, Sakal, because this is something that had been in waiting for such a long time, and it is a testament to the kind of bilateral cooperation that two nations can have. It's quite unique in that way. We've seen how nations help each other strategically in business and otherwise, but here this is a cultural and spiritual aspect of a relationship which is quite unique.
Absolutely, and a big one when it also comes to India's Gulf outreach, and it will be very interesting to see how the diaspora really reacts to it, because we've been running those reports. We'll be getting those live reports today as well. And to put this entire India-UAE relationship template in broader context and the significance of the inauguration of the temple, plus the bilaterals that have been signed, as you mentioned. To discuss all of that, we're very glad to have a high-powered panel on this special broadcast. Ambassador Sanjay Panda, former senior diplomat, is joining us on the show. And also, let me also welcome Dr. Vishal Goble from the School of International Studies in Jawaharlal Nehru University here in National Capital, New Delhi. I would like to start quickly with Ambassador, your opening remarks. Where does this take as far as India-UAE relationship is concerned, plus the whole India and West Asia outreach?
Thank you for having me on your show. I feel that this visit of Prime Minister Modi is path-breaking in the sense that it signifies the importance that we attach to our relationship with UAE, and also it is the importance that UAE attaches to its engagement with India. We have a relationship which especially during the last couple of decades and particularly during the last 10 years has gone up it has moved on an upward trajectory. And at this point, I would say that by elevating our ties to a comprehensive strategic partnership, we have made a very bold statement. And you have been talking about this temple. This temple is, you are calling it the Hindu temple, but this is actually one of the major statements that India is making by the Swaminarayan temple allows people from all faiths to visit the temple and appreciate what India's secular credentials are all about.
Certainly it does. Dr. Goble, if I could ask you, in terms of how nations engage with each other, strengthen ties with each other, we've seen how nations have alliances, they help each other out in times of difficulty, even in warfare. But how unique is this an example where you have a nation like the UAE, which gives land for the setting up of a temple by devotees of a different faith altogether in a land which has welcomed them for decades, but where they did not have a place of worship of this scale before?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you very much. That really wants it to be
we seem to be having certain issues with the audio of Dr. Goble at the moment. Let me put that question to you, Ambassador Panda, till we get that fixed. How would you like to respond to how unique this sort of an aspect of the India-UAE relationship is? Do we have any parallels where something of this sort has happened before?
Actually, This is totally unprecedented the way the relationship has moved. And there are many people who have worked behind the scenes to make this relationship go in the way it has. And I would particularly like to mention the name of our National Security Advisor, Ajit Doval, who has been quite instrumental in getting this relationship. And of course, Prime Minister Modi, this is his 7th visit to the UAE. How UAE is strategically important to India can be gauged from the fact that we are now signing 10 MOUs with UAE. In fact, we have just signed 10 MOUs with UAE from the Middle East Economic Corridor, which connects, that was the announcement which was made during the G20 summit. And now, apart from this, we have now also have this financial cooperation where the G1 card is now been launched in UAE. So there are several things, and also from the point of view of maritime security and in the Indian Ocean, Indian Ocean Rim Association, UAE is a member, and India has a very close and interest in the Indian Ocean. So UAE as a stepping stone into Middle East, and also it's important in the Gulf. I think it's strategically very important for India to engage with. And the way we have succeeded in getting UAE with us, there are many question marks which were raised in the West and in the Western media. Also, it's a very bold response that we have given in the way we have engaged with the UAE and the kind of cooperation and strategic cooperation that we have established with the UAE.
Ambassador, I would also like to discuss with you the larger messaging and the statement, the bold statement that you mentioned. But a little later, requesting both of you to kindly stay with us. We are going to go live to Meghna Dev of DD India, a correspondent reporting live from the very spot. Meghna, over to you now. It's less than 1 hour to go. And you've been getting us reports of the diaspora, the palpable excitement, happiness. It's all about the faith and much more that goes with it. So take us through the emotions, sentiments, and everything that you feel around and see around you in the temple premises. I believe that's the spot from where you're reporting.
Yes, exactly, Sakal. I'm here at the spot. I'm here at the temple itself, the Baptist Hindu temple, to keep you with the visuals so that you can see what's the sentiment like. There are many people who have already started coming in, and obviously the consecration ceremony has happened, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be here, in just some time from now. And a lot has happened in terms of, this temple coming up. When we actually see, we are talking about the special features of the temple. We are talking about the 7 spires, which actually, reflect, or which actually depict the 7 Emirates. We also talk about the 2 domes. We talk about, the architecture. We are talking about the craftsmanship, and we are talking about much more that has gone in the, in the construction of this temple in Abu Dhabi, in the Abu Muraikha district. Also, when we are talking to the, the people who are coming here, people of the diaspora, they're obviously very happy with what, this temple which has come up, and obviously it will be open to the general public in just a few days from now. Besides that, what we also see is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's engagement with the UAE, India's engagement with the UAE, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's initiatives to to get the momentum, to get the ball rolling, and obviously to in a number of aspects, that how many more areas of cooperation can we have. And cultural cooperation is just this temple stands as a testament to what cooperation can do, and it has definitely done wonders here in Abu Dhabi. And that's what people have also been telling us, that they did never expect such a huge temple coming up in Abu Dhabi, and now it's a reality. I will also show you the visuals here. This is where the approach to the temple. When we are talking about the speciality of the temple, we are also talking about the 2 domes. One is the Dome of Peace, which you see at the center of the temple. Then there is the Dome of Harmony, which actually features the 5 elements of nature. We also have deities from the north, east, south, west, central India. we have, a lot of emphasis has also been given on, making it a Hindu temple, in the sense that the people from the southern part of India can also come here and worship their deity. People from the northern part of India can also come here and worship their deity. So definitely that is something that has been paid a lot of emphasis to. There is Sri Akshar Purushottam Bhagwan, then there is Radha Krishna, there is Sita and Ram, there is also Shankar and Parvati, there is Jagannath Bhagwan, and obviously there is also Ayappa Swami. We also know, because there is a lot of people in the diaspora who belong to the southern part of India. And when we talk about the harmony that this temple has created, the people here, the volunteers here tell us that while we see that the chief architect of this temple is Christian, the land has been given by people who follow Islam. It has been constructed by people who are Hindus. The construction contractor, they are Parsis. So it's all a beautiful amalgamation, a harmony of different faiths, which has resulted in the construction of this temple, which definitely Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be meeting people here as well, and he will also be taking a round of the temple and seeing the temple for himself.
Yes, definitely, Meghna. In fact, there are 7 spires or shikhars in the temple, and that represents the 7 emirates as well. But just tell us, since this is such a mega event, unprecedented really, as one of our panelists also said, tell us who all, I mean, Prime Minister Modi will be inaugurating it, but who else will be there in terms of representatives of the UAE government and other dignitaries, and what all can we expect to see once the entire event begins?
What we can expect is that there's a probability that the Minister of Tolerance is going to be here. He was here with Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday, also at the Alan Modi event, and we saw a huge diaspora turn up for the community event as well, and there was a lot of excitement in people. And yesterday, what Prime Minister Narendra Modi said at the community event definitely encapsulated what India and UAE have done in the past few years to bring up the momentum on such a high, where we are talking about moving from traditional areas of cooperation to now, in terms of AI, we are talking about digital infrastructure, we are talking about fintech, we are talking also in terms of green hydrogen, biofuels, and much more. So when we are also seeing that while India is doing well in terms of solar energy, harnessing wind energy, and the renewables in that sector, India is also moving towards new age renewables in terms of green hydrogen, in terms of biofuels, and more. So definitely that makes it all important as well, because there is a lot of cooperation in terms of in this sector between India and UAE. So definitely these actually are summing up the relationship and are also deciding where this relationship will go. We are talking about food parks. We are talking about we're talking about how logistics can be improved. We just saw the launch of Bharat Mart, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid the foundation stone for it. So that is also, the Bharat Mart in a sense is very important, and it will open more markets for the Indian exporters. So we are also when we have such a cooperation where culturally and in terms of faith, we are also
so now we get to see more
in terms of economy.
Yes, Meghna, so now we get to see more of little India in various nooks and corners of Abu Dhabi, besides the strong Indian diaspora that has been residing there. But Meghna, we just want to understand from you, reportedly India has invited ambassadors of at least 42 countries. And what also makes this significant or special for the UAE leadership or establishment, especially the temple part?
So ambassadors of many countries had earlier also visited, had come to visit the temple, of different faiths, obviously, and also one ambassador was Hindu, which was the ambassador of Nepal. So we have been seeing that ambassadors have also had the curiosity to come and visit the temple, look at the architecture, and definitely have a look at this. We are talking about 3.5 million, more than 3.5 million strong diaspora. And Sakal, you actually said that this is a huge diaspora. The reason that, the Indian diaspora in that sense is very important in terms of economy. It's very important in terms of what they're contributing to the UAE. They are very important in terms of innovation, research, development, and more. You also saw the IIT Delhi Abu Dhabi campus Prime Minister met the first batch.
Certainly, Meghna. We can see a lot of activity behind you. In fact, Meghna,
Yes.
I believe some performers are getting ready. If you could just bring them in a bit and have a chat with them as well, it'll be
Yes.
really nice. Thanks.
Yes. What do you have to say? Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to come here. What's the feeling like? Yes. What is the feeling like? Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to come here.
The peace of and harmony and love.
Yeah.
Love is the symbol of this temple.
Yes. So we have here people who are about Prime Minister Narendra Modi coming here in just some time. I will also try to speak to a few more of them. What do you have to say about in terms of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to come here shortly?
It's a very great privilege for all of us to see our honorable Prime Minister and
Yes.
the leader who is setting the example for all the leaders across the globe. So seeing from real life to get an opportunity to see in real life is what I'm really very excited. We all are really very excited for that, seeing the great personality among us.
What do you have to say about the temple? The temple has come here, and number of people from the diaspora who would want to worship and come here and worship. What do you have to say?
The temple is not less than a miracle, and it's a true that the vision of a spiritual leader, previous spiritual leader Pramukh Swami Maharaj, the prayer of 1997 in the desert of Sharjah is really coming true on these auspicious that we all can notice. So that was what his power was in his vision, and all support. Great thanks to the Sheikh of UAE, the Prime Minister, and the BAPS community, and all the cross devotees of all religions. This is what a temple and a spiritual oasis for global harmony. And the temple has set an example of global harmony. Why we can see that the contractor is from different religions, the director is of different religions, the country is of different religions, the temple represents different religions. More to that, the temple also represents many gods, covering all the gods, great lords of India, that is from north, starting from Lord Shiva, then we see the Sitaram, then we see the Lord Radha Krishna, Ayyappa Swami, Jagannath, from Jagannath Lord from the eastern part of India. So this is also a mini India or India within a UAE, we can say. All India is from here. That is what we all can see in this temple.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for talking to us. So here you hear from the volunteers, most of these people are volunteers at the temple who are ensuring that everything is kept in place before the event starts, in just some time from now. But definitely you can hear the emotion that they have, the emotion that they share, and what exactly everyone's telling us, that this temple is nothing less than a miracle when it stands here straight in Abu Dhabi. So nothing, people would not have predicted, people would not have thought. But Pramukh Swami Maharaj, did envision it in 1997 itself. So that's what has come true, and especially for the followers of BAP, this is definitely a very important and a proud moment as well.
Yes. I like the way one of the volunteers echoed the same sentiment of that of mini India in Abu Dhabi. Before we leave you, Meghna, also a bit if you could elaborate on the reaction, response, the significance as far as UAE leadership, overall leadership is concerned on the temple part.
Can you repeat your question, Sakal?
How is UAE's top leadership viewing this unprecedented, historic occasion?
So I would, first of all, answering your question, I would like to take you back to the visual of when Pramukh Swami Maharaj came to Abu Dhabi, the kind of welcome he got. The Minister of Tolerance was there to receive him. Those visuals speak for themselves, that how well is the leadership in UAE receiving it. They have not only given 27 acres of land, but they have also given some extra land so that once the whole premises gets completed, till the whole premises is getting constructed and the premises get completed, they can keep all the construction material and the parking and all of that. There's extra land that has also been given till the entire premises and the construction in the outer area gets completed. So that speaks volumes of how the leadership is taking it. And besides, the amount of people in Abu Dhabi itself are excited about this temple coming up. And not only the people who follow the faith, but also the people who do not follow this faith are definitely mesmerized
by what has been created in a desert. And this beautiful temple, in all its beauty, in terms of the magnificence of its architecture itself, is attracting a number of people who who follow the faith or don't follow the faith, are definitely quite attracted towards this beautiful temple.
All right, Meghna Dev, many thanks for joining us live from the very spot. First Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi. Meghna Dev of DD India. We'll come back to you in a short while, but really thank you for getting us those live visuals and live ground reports.
Yes, thanks, Meghna. Now, ahead of the launch of the historic Babs Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi, a special day of devotion was held at the temple on the 10th of this month. Devotees gathered in huge numbers to participate and celebrate the occasion.
देवाधिदेव परमेश्वर शास्त्रयोने ॐ स्वामिनारायणाय नमः ॐ स्वामिनारायणाय नमः.
And we continue our conversation with Ambassador Sanjay Panda, former senior diplomat, and also Dr. Vishal Goble from School of International Studies in JNU. I believe both of them are with us live. Yes, they are. Before we go to Vishal, I think we have managed to fix that audio line with him. But Ambassador, before we went live to Meghna, I had that point on the larger message, the bold statement. As far as India and the rest of the world is concerned, B, UAE and rest of their part of the world is concerned. I hope you understand what I mean. Yes. We're talking a lot of hyphenation and dehyphenation here with certain Islamic nations.
Absolutely. This is a major statement that India has made. You see, there has been, when I mentioned, I alluded to some question marks which were raised about India. In one stroke, actually, with India's soft power, I think that question has been very definitively answered. I refer to my last assignment, which was in Turkey. For example, when Turkey was trying to, make a statement as the leader of the Islamic community, and they were trying to, get the caliphate glory back to Turkey. That was the time, India there were a lot of question marks which were raised by the president of Turkey about India's credentials and how especially the minorities were treated. So now this temple has actually given that answer by our action. And one thing I wanted to mention, that it is a major statement through India's soft power. I feel that in the Gulf, having the first temple of this nature coming up, and which has access to all community, all faiths, is a major statement. So I think this is going to augur very well for the future.
Certainly. And Dr. Goble, also tell us, we've examined how it and what it means, this kind of a step means for where India stands in the Global Committee of Nations. But just tell us about what does it reflect related to the outlook of the UAE itself and of that region, because it's a major step for a country to give sort of a space to people who come from different parts, a very different part of the world, although now they occupy a large part of the population, 30% or above 30% now of the Indian diaspora, of the UAE's population is of the Indian diaspora. So tell us about how it is also a sign of the times.
Yeah, sorry for the technical glitch earlier. But
no problem,
what I was trying to say is that this is a strategic gain. This is a strategic gain for India as well as the Gulf countries in general, and with UAE in specific. This is the 7th time that our honorable Prime Minister is visiting the country. Having said that, our Prime Minister will also be participating in the World Government Summit. So that also speaks a lot on how the government should function and take all facets of society, all sections of society together. So working or in a collaborative manner that's the way forward. That's what a definite factor should be. At the same time, I feel that it's a great learning process. That's how I look at it. It's a great learning process for the region, where that's how they look at India being a very diverse country. So people from all sections of society, they are living and they are thriving in a very positive manner. So in that sense, how the region can take everybody together in a society and move forward. So apart from the cultural linkages and the social linkages that we had with the region, we also have the strategic dimension to this relationship. For example, the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, the CEPA, which came into picture in 2022, or for that matter, local currency settlement, which came into effect in 2023, which also gives a lot of space for economic for Indian currency to be floated across or to be used in the Gulf markets. So these factors. Having said that, we have around 85 billion worth of trade in last year. Plus at the same time 3.5 million strong Indian community that resides in the region. So all of these factors, having said or having discussed about all of these, we come to a definite conclusion that how the region is being taken into a broader picture. The world is shrinking, and therefore there is people to people connect. So there is a social connect that is increasing within the region, and that's how I feel the temple that is being built in Abu Dhabi. I think that reflects a lot.
Diplomatically, how do you again look at this in terms of now this unprecedented inauguration of a first Hindu temple in a country like Abu Dhabi, Ambassador, to the strategic depth between the two countries now? Sorry, Ambassador, this for you. Yes.
Okay. You see, strategically, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, it is important for both the countries to engage with each other, and the extent, like Professor mentioned about the 3.5 million Indian diaspora and our economic partnership, our, now we have elevated our relationship to a comprehensive strategic partnership. So this is a win-win scenario for both. And the way the world is also very closely watching where these two countries are going, where India and UAE are going. So this is something which I feel is a stepping stone to many future, many broader aspects in international relations, which we are going to see in the next years.
Yes, I just wanted to go back to my previous question, Dr. Goble, in the context that if you look at UAE, there are about 3.5 million, slightly over 3.5 million people of Indian origin or diaspora there. But if you look at the entire Gulf, there are about 6 countries where the numbers cross 9 million. So in terms of, again, that regional outlook to that part of the world, how significant is this, the way that the UAE has given space to the Indian diaspora there? What can we expect in the coming days as to what the other countries will do or can do really when it comes to the Indian diaspora in India?
Yeah, thank you. In international relations, when there is a positive growth in a particular nation or in a particular country, technically the nearby countries try to imitate or try to follow the same pattern. So the way I look at it is that this is one step forward. In fact, in a much bigger magnitude, where the relationship between UAE and India has been growing to that level. With regards to the other Gulf countries, I won't be surprised if such kind of a phenomena also takes place in other countries. For example, Saudi Arabia.
Well, the next highest number is in Saudi Arabia, about 2.5 million.
Exactly. So I won't be surprised if such kind of a trend or development takes place in a country like Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia is also diversifying its economy, and with diversification, it wants to again reflect on what its neighboring country, neighboring state like UAE is has done over a period of decades. So therefore, I won't be surprised that if such a thing happens. But at the same time, what I said some time back is people to people connect, and the social connect should take place. And this is where, unless and until the region realizes that there should be stability and peace, only then such kind of a phenomena can grow. But for a country like India to take part and become a part and parcel of the growth of these economies in the region is not new. Honorable Ambassador also mentioned about the soft power strategy.
Okay.
So India has a tremendous stand on this, which reflects on the soft power policy.
Okay. Let's also now talk a bit more about the significant features of the temple, and in fact requesting both of our panelists to stay with us. And we do know, Gautam, that this temple is built with the key elements which are taken from India. The temple, which sits like lotus amidst the sand dunes in UAE, will soon be inaugurated by our Prime Minister. In fact, Meghna of DD India spoke with Vishal Patel.
We are inside the Babs Hindu temple, the highly anticipated temple where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be coming, and we'll be inaugurating it on 14th of February on his visit to UAE. Vishal, can you talk to us and tell us more on what are the preparations going around, and what we see is such a majestic view of this temple?
The culmination of what we've seen, the support that we've been given for this temple to be constructed has been phenomenal. And now we've seen everyone really working hard to see the culmination where our Guru Mahant Sai Maharaj is going to be here, and we're going to be joined by the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And you can see there's a lot of buzz, a lot of excitement, and we're really proud to showcase the unity between the UAE and India. This is the first stone temple in the whole of the Middle East, and it's the largest temple in Western Asia. So to see such a magnificent temple, when you're really up close, it almost feels like you're actually in India. It's only when you go outside and you see the wider perimeter of the sand dunes and the palm trees, really hits home that you're actually in the middle of the UAE.
Many people have been telling us that the 7 spires are actually one of the special attractions, we can say, or one of the specialities of this temple. What do you have to say? Because we have been seeing that gods from different parts of India, their idols have been brought in here.
What makes it very unique is the way that it's been constructed. If you look at the 7 shikhars that you have here, the 7 spires, they actually pay homage to the UAE. They represent each of the 7 emirates. And that's for us to say thank you to the UAE, which is our home for many, many years, for giving this land. Now, within this temple, what differentiates it from many other temples that you find around the world is the unity and the harmony that you will see. We've got murtis coming from the north, south, east and west. We have murtis coming from Tirupati. So Tirupati Balaji's murti is as authentic because it's been provided by the Tirupati Trust. Similarly, when you go to Puri, the Jagannath Ji murti is coming from Puri itself. So it's as authentic as you would find. So every Indian, every Hindu, and even, well-wishers who want to visit will have a taste of India when they come to this mandir.
Absolutely. So when we call it a spiritual sanctuary, it definitely stands ground on what it is being called. We obviously see this beautiful structure. When generally people visit Abu Dhabi, this structure transcends them from the general Abu Dhabi in terms of luxury hotels, racing car arenas and much more, to beautiful spiritual place and everything that depicts Indian craftsmanship, Indian culture, Indian tradition and more. With my colleague Ashwini Mishra and camera person Pramod Negi, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Abu Dhabi.
I just wanted to add another interesting factor. 27 acres of land was donated in 2 tranches. Initially, it was 13.5 acres and it was meant for the temple. Then I guess it was realized that you need a lot of parking as well. Around 3,000 cars, 50 buses. So another 13.5 acres was donated for the parking itself. So that's the kind of structure, mammoth structure that you have there in the middle of Abu Dhabi in those desert and the sand dunes. Now, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a meeting with the Vice President and Prime Minister of United Arab Emirates, Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, as well on Wednesday. Both the leaders discussed various aspects of bilateral cooperation spanning trade and investment, technology, education and people-to-people ties as well.
Also earlier, Indian Prime Minister Modi also held a bilateral meeting with Madagascar President André Rajoelina on the sidelines of the World Government Summit in Dubai.
Their discussions focused on deepening bilateral ties between both the nations. The Prime Minister reassured Madagascar of India's unwavering support in its developmental journey.
India and UAE leaders also tried to deepen their economic linkages with each other. In fact, the day also saw Prime Minister virtually inaugurating the Bharat Mart, which is a warehouse facility in Dubai.
Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, UAE Vice President and Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, was also present at the inaugural event.
Bharat Mart is an innovative marketplace aimed at showcasing Indian products, globally bolstering trade relations between India and UAE.
And taking the India story to the world, Prime Minister Modi painted his vision for the future of governance in his special address at the World Government Summit in Dubai, in which he participated as the guest of honor.
Prime Minister highlighted the success of India's governance model. Prime Minister Modi also outlined way forward for addressing global challenges. In all, the Indian Prime Minister elaborated on a wide range of subjects which will strengthen the conversations around building a better planet.
And at the World Government Summit in Dubai, the government there signed an MOU with Joby Skyports to initiate flying taxis in the city. This could perhaps mark a beginning in the shift to how public transport is perceived in the world. DD India's Dibyendu Mondal caught up with the CEO of Dubai's public transport agency to find out more.
Ever thought of flying on a flying taxi? That could soon be a reality for people in Dubai. I'm joined by the CEO of Dubai's transport agency, Mr. Ahmed. Welcome to Doordarshan. Thank you for speaking to us. Tell us, by when can we see these taxis flying in the skies of Dubai?
Well, the plan hopefully is by 2026. So we have just signed recently at this World Government Summit. We signed two very important agreements. They are very important milestones and partnerships for us to bring this service to life in Dubai. The first is with Joby Aviation, which is an American company which is going to be providing the aircraft as well as operating and maintaining the service in Dubai. And the second partnership is with Skyports Infrastructure. They are a UK-based company.
How does this work? Will it be what model are you thinking of to implement it?
So from a customer experience point of view, it will be very similar to ordering, for example, an e-hail trip, an Uber trip, for example. You will have an app. You will be able to select your destination, and we will probably be linking the air taxi service with another mode of service. So we are responsible for all modes of mobility in the city of Dubai.
What would be the pricing of this? What could be the price of the tickets for this?
So we have not yet decided the final pricing. It's a bit too early for that. However, we are not just doing this service for a certain group of people, maybe only tourists or people who have wealth or business people. That's not the idea. The idea that eventually this will become a very important part of the mobility ecosystem in the city of Dubai, and therefore it needs to be priced similar to other transportation systems. The first phase of the taxi will have 4 vertiports. One will be near the airport, the other one is an area called downtown, which is around the Burj Khalifa area, Palm Jumeirah, as well as the marina area. These are the 4 vertiports that will be part of the first phase of the project. We will start with 6 aircraft, exactly like the aircraft you see here. And of course, there will be potential to expand depending on how the demand grows.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed, for speaking to Doordarshan. This is completely energy efficient. It runs on battery, does not require fuel. So this could perhaps change how movement and mobility is looked at in Dubai and could also be expanded to other cities and to other countries as well. With camera person Ravinder, this is Dibyendu Mondal from Dubai for DD India.
as if Dubai needed any more attractions.
One more to their kitty.
Prime Minister Modi's Dubai visit also saw him giving a clarion call for reform of global institutions, along with stressing on the need to create global prototypes for emerging challenges like artificial intelligence and crypto.
In fact, this was part of the Prime Minister's keynote address at the World Government Summit in Dubai. Here's more of it. All right, we are going to play that report in a short while, but can we quickly go back to the guests and talk about the importance of the bilaterals that have been signed and the deliverables on the table? Ambassador, could you hear us? All right, I think we have... Yes, can we go back to the ambassador, please? Yes. Sir, on the bilateral bit, your overall response, how has the bilateral, especially the trade component of it, this time around, though this being not the first visit but historic in many sense, besides the temple bit, in terms of diplomatics and deliverables, as far as both the countries bring to the table, how do you see this in terms of significance?
No, this is very significant in terms of the economic collaboration that we are having with UAE. It has actually grown by leaps and bounds. The two things which I mentioned, which is particularly significant to have happened during the current visit, one is the Middle East Economic Corridor MOU, which has been signed, which will take forward India's commitment, which was announced during the G20. To connect, right up to Europe. So it's a connectivity thing which UAE is a critical player. The other one is the financial collaboration that I mentioned about, where the Jeevan card is now getting introduced in UAE. So it will be very important because now this will facilitate using, rupee for trading between the two countries and also with the entire region in due course. So that's a major statement. And now our economic partnership agreement has several components, and I feel that what has happened is now just the beginning. And India looks at UAE as an important partner in various ways. For example, in ports, logistics, there are many UAE companies who are present in India. And for example, I wanted to mention about DP World. So now with this partnership now getting elevated by a few notches, so there are various projects which this company has, which could take further shape. And I feel that our two countries, India and UAE, have several opportunities, several potential, which should be, optimized during the next 4-5 years.
Right. Now, if I could come to Professor Goble as well, let's also talk about the bilateral investment treaty, Professor Goble, in terms of how investments have been going from the UAE to India in its companies and other enterprises. It was slightly over $3.5 billion in 22-23. Now, what kind of levels can this sort of an investment treaty take it to?
Yes, I think the investment has been quite an important facet for the growth of any strategic engagement between any two countries. There is tremendous investment in the oil and gas sector, particularly, and at the same time, India is also investing a lot. But what is very important, having said that, that there has been this comprehensive agreement which was signed in 2022 between India and UAE. But having said all of this, what is important is that the cultural outlook of the two countries is completely changing, and financially, in terms of economic growth and development, these two countries are moving to a completely different level. 85 billion US dollars in last year, 2022-23, is not a small figure. So in that sense, the growth and pattern of growth, which is taken forward by the strategic engagement, is quite important in that sense.
All right. Yes, we are requesting you to stay with us. We have a special report. We would like to play that out and go back to the discussion later on. In fact, Prime Minister Modi's Dubai visit also saw him giving a clarion call for reforms of global institutions, along with stressing on the need to create global prototypes for emerging challenges like artificial intelligence and crypto.
And like we said earlier, this was part of the PM's keynote address at the World Government Summit in Dubai. Take a look.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the World Government Summit in UAE's Dubai on Wednesday. This year's theme is Shaping Future Governments. The Indian Prime Minister highlighted his beliefs of an ideal government and expressed how governments which are inclusive, take everyone along, are clean and free from corruption.
आज विश्व को आवश्यकता है ऐसी सरकारों की जो ईज ऑफ लिविंग, ईज ऑफ जस्टिस, ईज ऑफ मोबिलिटी, ईज ऑफ इनोवेशन और ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस को अपनी प्राथमिकता बनाकर चले.
Throwing light on the support and trust of Indians on the Indian government, Prime Minister Modi mentioned that India has seen transformation in every sector and people's trust in the government has increased.
बीते वर्षों में भारत सरकार पर देश के लोगों का भरोसा और मजबूत हुआ है. लोगों को हमारी सरकार के इंटेंट और कमिटमेंट दोनों पर पूरा भरोसा है. ये कैसे हुआ? क्योंकि हमने गवर्नेंस में जन भावनाओं को प्राथमिकता दी है. हम देशवासियों की जरूरत के प्रति संवेदनशील है.
India's Prime Minister also pressed on the fact that the global south must be heard. He also emphasized on the need to share resources and technologies like AI and added that keeping national sovereignty in mind, international law must be respected.
हमें ग्लोबल साउथ की आवाज सुननी होगी. उनकी प्राथमिकताओं को सामने लाना होगा. हमें जरूरतमंद देशों के साथ अपने रिसोर्सेस और अपनी कैपेबिलिटीज को शेयर करना होगा. हमें एआई, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस और क्रिप्टो करेंसी, साइबर क्राइम ऐसे पैदा हो रही चुनौतियों के लिए ग्लोबल प्रोटोकॉल बनाने होंगे. हमें अपनी नेशनल सॉवरेनिटी को प्राथमिकता देते हुए इंटरनेशनल लॉ की मर्यादा भी रखनी होगी.
Earlier in the day, deepening India's economic linkages with the UAE and the world, the Indian Prime Minister, along with Vice President and Prime Minister of UAE, Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, virtually laid the foundation stone for Bharat Mart in Jebel Ali. On the sidelines of the World Government Summit, Prime Minister held bilateral meetings with Madagascar President, an important partner of India's Saga vision. As per a social media post by the Indian Prime Minister, ways to boost trade and cultural linkages were discussed between the two nations. India's Prime Minister also met with the Prime Minister of UAE, Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. Bureau Report, DD, India.
At this point, we are going to take a very, very short break. We'll continue our special coverage on Prime Minister Modi's UAE visit and also the inauguration of the first Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi, which is slated to take place in a short while from now.
Keep watching DD India. We'll be back with our guests.
The chip is on right now. The chip is on.
India that invents. India that innovates. India that excites. India that invites. Land of possibility. Teeming with opportunities. Watch India Ideas each Thursday, 8 p.m. only on DD India.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts, we demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Always welcoming. The vibe of Punjab is larger than life. Warm up to grandeur that's beyond compare. And history that's dotted with tales of bravery. Smiling soul of India, where music, art, cuisine and culture comes together to create an unforgettable impression. Punjab is all set to win your hearts with its unique and colorful extravaganza.
Welcome back. You're watching our special coverage related to the inauguration of the first Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi. Prime Minister Modi is going to do that in just a short while from now. I'm Gautam Roy and with me is Sakal.
And the Babs Temple in Abu Dhabi will soon be inaugurated by India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In fact, the countdown for which has already kick-started. We are going to now listen to some of the women volunteers at the temple.
With me are a number of people who are volunteers here and a number of people who are looking at the huge celebration that is going to take place on the 14th of February. Can you spill out on what's the sense like? How excited are people here?
We are very, very excited that the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, is going to come here and inaugurate this in person. Alongside with him will be the inspirer of this mandir, Param Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj.
So what are the preparations going around? We see, since like half a kilometer or more than that, the preparations are going on. How many people are expected?
We're expecting a lot of people. Thousands of people are expected to come. Thousands more are expected to come once this mandir is open for the public to come and see this masterpiece of architecture, peace, love and harmony.
How much is the excitement in the people here? I see smile on every face and very palpable excitement.
Everyone's very excited. This is a dream come true. We're very thankful to the leaders of the UAE for gifting this land and making our dreams come true.
How do you look at, this Hindu temple when we talk about coming up in UAE?
Definitely, we are very proud. It's a very proud moment for every Indian, I would say. We can show that we are almost there. We are developed now, and there's a lot of things happening in India and in abroad, and it's an amalgamation of UAE and India culture. So we are bringing our culture to the world. So the world is going to celebrate with us. This is what I feel.
When India talks about one family, one earth, one future, this is one of the examples of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, where a beautiful Hindu temple coming up in middle of a desert, we can say, as the volunteers put it, lotus in the middle of a desert. And definitely people are really excited before Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives here on his visit, with camera person Pramod Negi and my colleague Ashwini Mishra. This is Meghna Dev, 4DT India from Abu Dhabi.
Well, the moment of the inauguration of the BAPS temple in Abu Dhabi is almost upon us. Let me reconnect with our guest before the event actually unfolds live. We'll be covering it for you right here on this channel. Ambassador Sanjay Pada, if I could ask you, in terms of how Prime Minister Modi also reached out to the global audience in Dubai at the summit there, the Government Summit, World Government Summit, what can you tell us in terms of the kind of agenda setting that India has been doing through such events around the world?
That is one of the magnetic aspects about Prime Minister Modi. I mean, wherever he visits and where he interacts with the Indian diaspora, Gautam, I think this is just electric. I was associated with one such events in Houston, which was Howdy Modi. And this is absolutely remarkable that United States had never seen any bilateral head of state or government which was any event which attracted about 55,000 people. I mean, other than the Pope, it had never happened before. So this was something which was unique. And also you are all aware where it all started, the Madison Square event. So Prime Minister Modi has this knack of connecting with people, the Indian diaspora. And this is really, it was something which was replicated yesterday. I mean, I wasn't surprised with the Alan Modi event yesterday when there was this interaction with the Indian community at a stadium. And, this is something which is very critical because it gets the Indian diaspora connected to the country, which is critical from our perspective.
All right. Dr. Goble, similar question to you. Now, the larger import of Prime Minister's outreach or address today at the government summit, where he not only touched upon Brand India in terms of governance, what makes Indian governance stand out to voice of the global south and much more, and also that very important point of reforming the international multilateral institutions.
Yeah, I think that's very important point, and which was put forth, and our honorable Prime Minister has been very influential in that scenario, wherein he could actually bring in people from diverse north and south countries, and that's where the connection between global north and global south, I think he wants to bring them closer and bridge the gap that is there between global north and global south. That's what is important, because in order to bring both these entities together, global north and south, the privileged ones and the so-called not so privileged countries, I think that's where the relations in terms of culture, in terms of people to people connect, and more importantly, it is the economic differentiation that is there between global north and south that needs to be diminished. That's what it's trying to be proposed time and again. And I think our Prime Minister is quite successful in bringing people from both of these communities, global north as well as global south. So bridging the gap is as a very good leader that's been done, I think.
Yes, certainly. And in addition to that, Ambassador Panda, he talked about sharing resources with the global south and talked about how a unified, perhaps universally agreed approach should be taken to challenges and opportunities such as AI and cryptocurrency. Do you feel that India is part of that effort to take the world along together in tackling these, well, challenge? It's a challenge, it's a double-edged sword, both of them, cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence.
You see, these are not national challenges. These are actually global challenges, and which has to be faced globally, which requires a lot of international cooperation. So Prime Minister Modi made a very important statement in his address where at the summit, where he mentioned about setting up global protocol, which is absolutely essential. And India has actually been pitching in very strongly about this. And I feel that the moment we have the global protocol in place, the kind of cooperation mechanism which will be established, that will be clearly charted out. Otherwise, with artificial intelligence, it has a very dangerous connotation also, apart from the
yes, in fact, at the same summit, Sam Altman, whose company has come up with GPT, said that there should be an international body like the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency.
Absolutely, absolutely. Unless you have, we are in a globalized, interconnected world. I mean, it's, there's artificial barriers which separate us, has actually no meaning. And 10 years down the line, they will absolutely get blurred. So we have to prepare from today. Otherwise, all the benefits and what we are putting together will have no meaning. But one thing important which has happened in the last 10 years, now when India speaks, the world listens. So hopefully this will carry on, the traction will be there. And we are bilaterally engaging.
Panda, so this visit of Prime Minister, this particular visit of Prime Minister, which happens to be the 7th one to the UAE, is definitely going to add more meat or substance to that, the India way, that term that's been coined by our External Affairs Minister, and also in putting India again, or consolidating India's position on a global high table. Because here we are talking about the first Hindu temple in a country like UAE.
No, you are absolutely correct. I mean, there are, again, I mean, when you come to the temple, that is actually, we are taking the soft power means to get to our greater goals. But if you talk about this particular visit of Prime Minister, it has major global implication, because that's why I mentioned that the world is watching the outcome and how we are moving close and closer gradually with the United Arab Emirates. And this, I think, a major strategic statement, and this recast the geopolitical equation and the dynamics, not only in the region but globally as well.
Certainly. And Dr. Goble, if I could ask you in terms of how this will be taken forward as well, because the kind of agenda that's been set by India and the UAE together, that is something that has to be replicated perhaps by the entire world where the global south is concerned.
Yes, absolutely. I think you take all of our Prime Minister's speeches. In all of his speeches, he has promoted only the goodwill and the benefit of the people of the global community, and not just in India, but so which means he has always promoted peace and stability throughout the region. Not to mention bridging gap between global north and global south, but at the same time new challenges which are there in front of us. For example, artificial intelligence. Now, artificial intelligence is not something which will not have negative impact. It will definitely have negative impact, and therefore an organization such as IAEA should be or similar type of organizations should be set up in order to take care of only look after AI, so to say, or artificial intelligence, so to say. So these organizations, how do we move forward? The way forward is two to three important pointers. Number one is to bridge the gap between the global north and global south.
Okay.
That's the most important factor. How do we bridge the gap? By implementing these technologies, by trying to provide these technological developments to the world which is not which is developing world or underdeveloped world. That is number one. Number two is to reduce the geopolitical negative impact of happenings around the world. For example, we have conflict in West Asia, or even the Ukraine crisis, which is taking place for such a long time. How do we take care of all of these? So, promotion of peace, prosperity, and stability is one of the most important factors that is needed at this moment. That will promote in bridging the gap between global north and global south. And number two is to develop such technologies which will be for the benefit of the people. For example, AI and AI in a softer manner, not in a harsh manner, or not to be used in a negative manner for in any war or in any conflict.
Yes,
These are the goals.
the European Union's been working on that. They're coming up with their act. It will soon be going to its parliament as well, and that has an approach that could be looked at perhaps for the entire world as well, because it categorizes the nature of AI into 4 categories and then says that this is an absolute no-no, then this has to be a little bit washed carefully, and it's categorized in that manner. But let's also talk about before we the event of the day really hits us in terms of the temple inauguration by Prime Minister Modi. Let's also talk about how the countries are working together to ensure that our electronic financial transactions can be as cashless as possible, that it facilitates tourists in each other's countries and commerce beyond that as well, trade as well, if it's possible. When we talk about the work on digital currencies, Ambassador Pandey, do you feel that this is also something that is extremely progressive and that India and UAE are sort of marching ahead on this when it comes to their bilateral ties compared to others?
You see, this is initially when India was trying to introduce rupee in the neighborhood. Now it is really exciting news that it is going beyond the neighborhood. It's now reached our extended neighborhood, and I have no doubt that this will now, this has the potential to cover the entire Gulf region, and also after some time we may expand it to the other parts of the world, for example, Southeast Asia. But at this point, so far as the financial cooperation which has happened with UAE and the G1 card is accepted, now this is going to help our Indian community, which is the trading community, the business community, as well as the tourists, to actually transact in rupee and not have to go through the process of exchange rate. So it is got right from the tourists to the big businesses.
Okay.
It is going to help.
All right. In fact, ahead of the departure, when Prime Minister Modi took to his social media X platform, he did say that he's looking forward to meet his brother, the president of the UAE, with whom he shares a good rapport. So that brother, that bonhomie between the two leaderships is also
absolutely. There's a lot of personal chemistry, and which has translated in many of the, the way we have moved, the trajectory that our bilateral relationship has taken. So there's a lot of personal chemistry involved. There's no doubt about that. But one thing is there, that there is a strategic convergence between India and UAE, which is very critical. Apart from the personal bond, the equation and the chemistry, this strategic convergence is what drives India and UAE together. So somebody had to identify where we have what are the commonalities, what is our interest, which has been done during the last decade and which is now bearing fruit. So when this temple comes about, and the two important aspects of the temple, which we have the messaging is peace and harmony, peace and harmony. So now this is something which probably, in the West, they never imagined that India could have this kind of equation.
I mean, besides
where
peace and harmony, Ambassador, but the larger ramifications, the diplomacy is one part, the geopolitics, whatever is happening in the East and the West, how West is going to really look at it. In that sense of term, what makes this very, very important for the UAE as far as their interests in Indian leadership is concerned?
Oh, there's, you see, this is an investment for future. UAE, let's get it very clearly. UAE is a very pragmatic country. I mean, they really know where their future is, and they take all the other things out of the equation. Now, so far as the UAE is concerned, they look at India as a major market, not only market, but they look at it as a destination where also not only I'm not talking about the transshipment, also they see for the oil and gas and the connection, and then the contribution of the Indian diaspora to UAE's economy. Other than that, they also look at India's investment which to come into UAE, which is actually happening now. So this is a win-win situation where diplomacy, you see, at the end of the day, the diplomacy has to be based on your national interest, and which is what is happening. So both from UAE's perspective as well as from India's perspective, this relationship is very, very important and is going in the right direction.
Well, certainly, just look at it in terms of how this time we've had these agreements, and wherein one is also related to an MOU rather, in the field of electricity interconnection and trade. And this takes us back, Dr. Goble, to what was an India initiative, because if you talk about interconnected electricity, you cannot leave out the International Solar Alliance.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. See, there are three issues I would like to highlight at this moment. The first thing is the cultural diplomacy that we have with the region, which is the most important, which is our priced commodity, which is, which we really cherish upon. The second important factor being the economic side of it, or the economic engagement between the two countries. 20 to 21 billion dollars of investment, of which nearly 15 to 18 would be the FDI flow. So this is the investment. This is the kind of investment that we are looking at from UAE's perspective towards India. And these are in diverse sectors. These sectors could be from oil and gas to ceramics to transportation industry, so on and so forth. So this variety of investments which UAE has done, it's an investment, as Ambassador also pointed out, it's an investment for the coming years. It's an investment for the future. Apart from the fact that the rise of temple that we see today, and which has been inaugurated. So such kind of diplomacy, including cultural as a soft power, and at the same time the financial diplomacy that we see between the two countries. This is what is going to take the two countries, or in fact India vis-a-vis other Gulf nations, ahead in the decades to come, in the years to come.
Yes, certainly. Ambassador Panda, what would you like to add over here in terms of how, when India is at a certain level in terms of suggesting how the world should be tackling global challenges, what sort of a complementarity is there where the UAE is also concerned, being on one page when it comes to global challenges and opportunities?
See, there are several things where we have common. That is why I mentioned about, you have to have a strategic convergence to move forward. And India and UAE have strategic convergence in several areas. For example, you yourself mentioned about the International Solar Alliance, and that is, an offshoot of our commitment towards climate change. And, when the COP process is not moving in the direction that we want, I think important players have to be on the same page and have to understand each other's concern. And interestingly, India and UAE have this understanding. So we are on the same page so far as climate change is concerned. Now, in the United Nations, there are, the SDGs on which also we have a commitment. So it's very important that countries cooperate. But more importantly, the way I look at it, the UAE and India can also play a very important role in Indian Ocean. And, in the larger context of maritime security and, anti-piracy, that is why I did mention about the Indian Ocean Rim Association, which is also coming up. And Prime Minister himself mentioned about Sagar, security and growth for all in the region. So, of course, he said that in the context of Madagascar. But actually, UAE is also a very important littoral country of the extended Indian Ocean in the Arabian Sea and into the Gulf. So we have to cooperate